Resilience is a term you're going to hear a lot more of as we get deeper into the 21st century. It really means the ability of individuals or communities or nations to respond to disasters, to stresses. Unfortunately, it's a term we're applying now to the ability of the whole planet to deal with climate change and the frequency and severity of disasters that we're encountering. There was a time after 9/11 when our government defined readiness as the key thing, and people were supposed to have 14 days of water and fresh batteries and that kind of thing. Their own polling indicated almost none of us do that, but the good news is that there are other models of resilience. We're an adaptable species. These models come down to social integration and technological integration. Social integration means that families have a place to evacuate to, that you know your neighbors, that someone remembers the senior citizen down the street when it's time to send a boat during the flood. Technological integration really means the ability of people to communicate with each other, for civil authorities to communicate with people, to give them an alert, and to provide information they need after the alert. I'm very fortunate to be a founder of and leading a coalition. It's called the AWARN Alliance. It's a coalition of TV media companies, broadcasters, consumer electronics companies, B2B technology companies, and trade associations. And we are reinventing the way we do emergency alerting in this country. It's based on a new technology that's coming to a living room near you called Next Generation Television. It's going to bring you not just high definition, but ultra high definition, but we can use it to put an emergency alert deep indoors, on mobile phones, on TV sets, on connected cars. And I think it'll be a big step toward technological integration to improve our resilience. I also hope it serves as a model, because this is a voluntary alliance of companies and organizations coming together. We work with government, but we're not waiting to be told by government what to do. And fortunately, we're not alone. Airbnb has a big planning effort to house people that had to evacuate the West Coast in case of the big one, or tsunamis. The Consumer Technology Association, which is one of our members, has adopted a resilience agenda after their board retreat was surrounded by megafires in Napa, California in 2017. And there are other examples. And I hope that you, as you're gathered here today for your meetings this week, will consider what your organization can do in terms of a resilience agenda, not only for your own members and for your employees, but for your communities, for your country, and the planet. And this is how we're going to deal with this and adapt. Of course, resilience really begins with individuals. My story is not one of heroism, but I've had my ups and downs. I had spinal surgeries in my neck a few years back. The second one resulted in a staph infection. It was at a time when there were a lot of stories about staph infections and people losing limbs, and my doctor joked that because this infection was in my neck, amputation wasn't an option. But we got through it. But I was depressed. I was run down after that experience, and I went to see a specialist. He told me that I had Lyme disease. I had a deathly allergy to the black mold that was in my house. I had the highest levels of mercury in my brain he had ever seen measured. And I had a genetic mutation called COMT. I got a copy from each parent. It's related to schizophrenia, to bipolar disorder, to ADD, to addiction, and to creativity. That's the upside. So I have slowly been dealing with that. Genetics are not destiny. But even before that, the biggest thing I did for my resilience was to quit drinking. It's been almost 12 years. And life hasn't been rosy since then, but I'm with you today because I took that big step. And more broadly, I hope all of us as individuals can think about what we can do for our own resilience, but also for the resilience of our whole planet.